And so what we're going to tell you tonight is chilling. Now, we're not telling you this to anybody to basically scare you, but like I used to say in broadcasting, maybe sometimes you've got to scare the hell out of people to get heaven into them. I'm going to suggest that everyone begins to absolutely seek with their whole heart, their whole soul, their entire entity, the mind of the Lord. Because, ladies and gentlemen, very soon the Feast of Purim is going to be celebrated, and that is commemorating the day that God delivered the Jews from the slaughter at Haman's hands, and Haman ended up getting hung on the gallows that he had erected for Mordecai. So the thing is, this is in the book of Esther, but the other thing that's important for everyone to understand is that this may be, based on the internet fluctuations, they're announcing today that the Pentagon was attacked, as you probably have been able to read on my website if you can get on it, that my web sleuths tracked our attack to China and a massive Chinese intelligence undertaking. So if this thing is going to go active in the Middle East and the Internet's going to go down, maybe even so much as earlier than the 8th, we're going to have transformation taking place and danger in our lives like we've never known before. So I want to introduce Greg, and I want Greg to address what he's found out.
Thank you, Steve. And Shannon, it's a privilege beyond words to be with you tonight. Let me put it to you this way, Steve. This is the ultimate declaration of war against the people of the United States, indeed the people of the world. But certainly here at home, when you have the kind of power, raw, brutal power that is now at the hands of governmental and military and high law enforcement officials to not when we talk about ringing the Liberty Bell, it doesn't happen anymore. What we're hearing is the long tolling of the bell for the memory of freedom, the death knell of freedom, if you will. What else explains, gentlemen, the reason that we've had more nationalized training that has affected our state and local police officials across the country, funded by Washington and in tandem with the military? We've had more of that in the past 2 years, more training than we have in the previous 236 years of the existence of this nation. There's only one explanation for it, and ladies and gentlemen, you cannot any longer be in abject denial over this. The war has begun. It is a spiritual war first and foremost. It's not a war about America anymore. It's not a war about reclaiming your sovereignty or your republic. I'm afraid those days are gone. What you are fighting for now is a spiritual battle that in the end, the only casualty, if you're not careful, will be your eternal spirit, your soul. And so what we must do, and I am speaking to you with, I've been prayed for all day. My wife anointed me. It's not about Greg Evenson or Steve Quayle. It is about what is being said tonight to prepare for you, to bring to you in words that could not be uttered any other way except in clarity and truth about what is happening. I'm talking to police officers across the United States today, friends of mine, former co-workers of mine, sheriffs that I trust with my life, state troopers that I know are door-to-door in some backwoods area right now listening some way or the other on their own computer or whatever it might be, but they're hearing what we're saying, they're shaking their heads, they're saying, yes, that is correct. Why? Because I've talked to some of them today. I talked to others yesterday and the day before. I'm saying, what are you seeing? What is happening out there? And I can tell you both, gentlemen, that the stakes have never been higher. The rank and file police officer, especially at the state level, because that's where I was, and even though I served in a very brief time as an appointment as a Secret Service agent, my basic time was spent as a state trooper. And those gentlemen are the ones that will be called upon to set the roadblocks. They will be the ones that will not allow freedom of travel. They are the ones that will direct you at a state police barricade to a bus or some other conveyance when the time comes that you will be taken to that final point of destination. A comfort camp, if you will, as some refer to it. I call it as a concentration camp. All of these things are in order. They're not conjecture. They're not somebody's idea of a Saturday afternoon planning session at the state police post. These are plans that are on the shelf. They are sitting in the back seats in safes or small safes in the car of the trooper used for evidence. They're not at the state police post. They are in the hands of the troopers that will take these computer disks, put them into their computers in their automobiles, and they will get their final direction should there be a breakdown between state headquarters and the state police unit. The reason for that, frankly, is if there is a false flag event, if there is a natural disaster, whatever it is might be, that cuts them off, so that the liaison with Homeland Security that sits in the state police headquarters, or indeed some of the larger sheriff's departments, then you will not be able to communicate. So you must know what's going to happen as a trooper in the field. I implore you tonight, ladies and gentlemen, that are listening to me across the United States, that I've talked to, and others and friends that you have spoken to, please remember that what is at stake here is real freedom. We're talking about whatever modicum of freedom is left. It's in your hands. It's in the hands of the American people as well. But you are the ones that are going to be called on. You are the ones that will be ordered by those in authority at your headquarters level to carry out the plans of those who have spent many, many hours, days, months, years planning for this moment. There would not be the need to have planned for it if there was not the plan in effect to carry it out for the reasons that we all know deep in our heart. This is the last attempt of overt evil to take freedom and the destiny of the American people away from them. You see, it's not about that anymore. It's about win or lose. This war will be won or lost, number one, by the intervention of God himself. And those of you that know Jesus Christ as your personal Savior, you have the upper hand at this moment, and you always will. In fact, if I were going to direct you at all, I would direct you to this brief statement from Psalm 121. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. Could it be more clear? You see, it doesn't matter what they have in store for us, Steve, and it doesn't matter, Shannon, what they've already done. What matters is that what we're going to do from this point forward, first of all, glorifies God. Secondly, helps prepare people even further for what is coming, and we work in tandem with those good men and women in uniform that are police officers at all levels, and that we also pray the same request on our brothers and sisters in the military. You know what's right and wrong. You have been told. You know what a legal order is versus an illegal order. You know what being an oath keeper is all about. We don't have to remind you and keep going over this. We simply expect you and ask you, in fact, we demand from you in a prayerful way that you follow through on this and do it so that in the end, the only thing that will be accomplished is for the good. And I'll take a breath, fellas, and whew, there's a lot out there.